taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh
Oh, son of a bitch.
no! You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today we are going to take a look at another subscriber replay, this one submitted by our Thotgor. Yes, thank you so much for sending in the replay. We are in the Gnevny today as well, so we'll talk about the Gnevny here shortly. But do keep in mind, if you have any replays of your own that you would like to send in, thotgor1@gmail.com. The email is also in the video description below, so be sure to send in your replay, and I'll do what I can to get it up on the channel. Now, the Gnevny, yes. So tier 5 Russian destroyer, and we are on straight. We did see a straight battle just yesterday, I believe. No, the day before, yeah. And that was with Pudahead and in his Königsberg, and now we're back on straight, but in the Gnevny this time as well. So the Gnevny are interesting destroyers, from a historical standpoint anyway, and why I say interesting is for a number of reasons. I mean, first, they were obviously Russian destroyers, but they were designed with the help of the Italians. Now, this was during the 1930s that this was taking place. Even though, you know, obviously there's some pretty severe ideological differences between the Soviets and the Italians, they were still able to design the ships. Now, basically, the ships themselves, you know, were contemporary designs for the time period. The Italians had also helped design basically these types of destroyers as well for the Turkish Navy, and I think the Greek Navy as well, potentially. The biggest issue with this class of destroyer was, in fact, the seaworthiness. The seaworthiness of these destroyers were pretty terrible. A number of these destroyers actually, just looking through some of the history on them, right, had sunk due to, you know, severe weather and the stern breaking off, the bow breaking off, or the ship just basically cutting itself in two and sinking. Yes, that happened often enough with this class of destroyers. Now, I believe initially the run was the serial run ordered was for I want to say 40 something destroyers, but anyway, by the time they got to about 30 destroyers produced, you know, serial run and production was stopped, because by this point in time it was apparent of the severe deficiencies in the class of destroyer, the Gnevny class of destroyer. So what had happened is they went back to the drawing table, the Italians and the Russians, that is, as surprising as that sounds, went back to the design table and came out with an altered version, a modified version, and I believe that that's what we would consider the Gremioshki, as we see her in the game, a modified version of the Gnevny, right? Basically a little better. Still had issues with seaworthiness, but not as bad, right? Interesting to note here as well that at the end of World War II, a number of Gnevny class destroyers were transferred to the, that was an amazing shot, by the way. First blood, devastating strike and detonation, so lucky shot, awesome. Anyway, a number of the Gnevny class destroyers were transferred to the Chinese Navy, or the People's Republic of China, and they served as the Ashan class. Yes, and we have that destroyer here in game. So it's a common misconception, or at least it was when the Ashan first came out, that it was like a Gremioshki. The fact is that she's actually more like a Gnevny, yes, at tier 6 anyway, just, you know, more upgrades to her. Anyway, getting back to the Gnevny class destroyers here, so I mean, a number of them eventually just ended up being used as target practice or being scrapped, just because, you know, by the end of the war they were really outdated, right? The war ended in 45, so I mean, you're using designs based on the early to mid 30s. It's time to get some better ships out, and keep in mind as well, you know, the political dynamic there at the end of World War II, with the Russians sort of facing off now against the Western Allies, and the need arising for new modern technology, including, you know, naval technology, to combat the Allies. Anyway, bit of history there for you. So, getting into the battle, you can see that Thotgor is now capping this cap zone here, right? The A cap zone. The Allied team managed to take B, but B is now being contested. Thotgor is doing an excellent job here of remaining concealed. When I was going through this replay, I was just, because I am not this good at my Gen V. When I went through the Russian destroyers and I got to the Gen V, I was excited because I have a Gremyovsky, and I was like thinking, oh, it's just a different Gremyovsky. This is going to be awesome. No, I didn't enjoy the Gen V that much, and it may just be that I didn't give her enough of a chance, but just didn't enjoy her. When I was watching this replay, I was so surprised to see just how properly the ship is being played, because she really not being spotted that often. Now, sure, we're firing guns right now at the Wyoming, right? So we are obviously spotted, but for the most part, just cutting throttle, hiding in smoke, using terrain as cover, the terrain as cover as is presented to them. So really nice job here as well, and we'll see that at the end, right? With just the overall credits that are earned here, it's going to be spectacular. Anyway, Wyoming's returning fire, but not that big of a deal. With the Russian destroyers, their biggest, at least I find when I'm playing them, the biggest advantage that I have is my speed. Speed is life in these destroyers, right? So if you maintain a good distance from a target and you're going at full speed, it's going to be really hard for that enemy to be able to start raining down shots on you. Keep in mind though that when they do start raining down shots on you, you're going to be likely to take some critical damage, which will probably be your engine or your steering, so keep that in mind. But if you don't get hit, your speed is your biggest asset here. I mean, you're easily going to be able to avoid incoming shells, especially those from battleships, right? At these ranges, battleships trying to shoot at you, not such a big deal. Now, we do have a cruiser, it's a Furitaka. That could be a pretty big threat if one of those shells happens to hit us, because the Furitaka has some pretty mean guns on her, so there is that. But again, right, we've got some good distance at play here, so why not open up the guns? We can see the Furitakas returning fire here. Yeah, they don't hit us. They don't hit us at all. Again, speed is life in these destroyers. Now, as well, what we have going on in this battle is some great teamwork, right? Some great covering, because you can see that, Stever's up here in the front, spotting these enemies, taking pot shots as he can, but he does have allies in the background who are also pounding away at the enemies that are spotted, right? Like that Furitaka took a massive hit there, probably from the battleship in the background behind Steger here. So, excellent teamwork taking place here as well. Still sort of sizing up that Wyoming, right? We're looking at the Wyoming going, I see you. The Wyoming doesn't know where Steger is right now, right? Steger isn't spotted. He's just sort of, sizing up these targets, taking a look. I mean, this Wyoming is looking pretty juicy, right? And the Furitaka is almost dead. There he goes. Furitaka is gone. We're now spotted. So we're more or less, on an attack run on this Wyoming. Gonna try and do something to her. It's going to be a little difficult because Wyoming is, sailing away. Even though the Wyoming is really slow, obviously the Gen V is a whole lot faster. Still sailing away, so it's going to make it that much harder to actually get in here with torpedoes, because that's what you're going to want to do. It's going to be difficult to do with the Gen V because you have a short torpedo range, right, of 4 kilometers, I believe it is. So there's that. To your advantage, your torpedoes are incredibly fast. So if you do actually manage to get in there and launch those torpedoes, chances are the enemy's not going to be able to avoid them. So there's also that. Now, we do see this enemy Isokaze pop up, so this is going to be a bigger threat here than the Wyoming, because the Wyoming isn't even engaging us, right? All we can hope to do against the Wyoming is set some fires and keep them spotted for allies. But Isokaze, we can definitely deal with this Isokaze. So we're going to start engaging the Isokaze immediately. You can see as well, if we look at the mini-map, we can see that at this point in time, right, the allies who are in the south have now all pushed to the north, and they're all sort of, fighting it out over here at B, because in the north, A didn't go so well, or is that C? Whatever, the northern point didn't go so well, and we really need to regroup here at B and take B. This is the point that Steger and his team need to have in order to get themselves, ensure the victory anyway. I mean, right now, yeah, we're leading by a lot, but still. Isokaze, in the meantime, is almost gone. We just need to get a few more hits on him here, and then we won't have to deal with the Isokaze, and we refocus our attention back over to the Wyoming. See what the Wyoming has been doing all this time. We do see a Congo off in the distance as well. Doesn't really pose too much of a threat to us here, basically because the Congo has bigger worries than a Gen V who's engaging his Isokaze, right? Even though the Isokaze is going down. Shots are out now, and there we go, Isokaze gone. So that's 2 kills for Steger, so fantastic. Taking a look around, seeing what we've got. There we go. Ally Congo is in front of us, right? So this Ally Congo is really doing his part here, really saving us by getting in here, and why that is because all of these enemy ships are focusing on the Congo. They're not going to be focused on a destroyer with, just sort of pecking away at the enemy ships here, which is their mistake. But they're not going to focus on the destroyer. They're going to focus on the battleship, who's really close to them, right? Just pounding away at them. That's what the enemies are going to go for. And luckily, our Congo is still alive. He's still going at it. We can see him. Well, we can't really see him, but he's on the starboard side of the ship here, still having at it. So finally in position to do something about this Wyoming. So we're going to start lining up some torpedoes. You can see torpedoes are on the way out. Really close, right? 2 kilometers, a little over, away from this target. So the Wyoming captain is now questioning a lot of what he's done, or he or she, the player, has done, right? Because things are about to go bad. So player does manage to avoid the first spread, fantastic. Unfortunately, the second spread comes in. There we go, 1 torpedo hit, and the Wyoming is down, and we're up to 3 kills now. Ooh, the aircraft carrier. Yes, we're gonna hunt down the aircraft carrier, because if we look at the enemy ships remaining, it's not like we need to get in here and do a whole bunch more damage. I mean, we've got a lot of allies in and around here to deal with these enemy ships who are on fairly low health, right? They're all on half health and whatnot, but we can still kind of see, the Thotgor was checking it out at least, right? Just didn't go blindly over to the aircraft carrier. At least looked at what the situation was, and whether or not this was going to be a good move, and it turns out to be a spectacular move anyway. So we're going to chase down the enemy aircraft carrier. We've got our speed boost on. We're going to get to our maximum cruising speed here and just start pounding away at this guy. As well, right now Thotgor is hidden, so the enemy aircraft carrier doesn't exactly know what's going on. There we go, Thotgor is spotted. So now the enemy aircraft carrier has a bit of a sense of what is about to go on. So unfortunately for the Bogue, his top speed is nowhere near the top speed of this Gnevny. So there's not a whole lot that this captain is going to be able to do other than attack the Gnevny with his planes, or he or she, or whatever, with the planes. Try and attack them with the planes, right? So that's all he's going to be able to do. Now, dive bombers come in and miss Thotgor entirely. Fantastic, and definitely a good call here as well to turn on your AA, right? At this point in time, you're obviously spotted. You're hunting down the enemy aircraft carrier. If you have your AA on, I know it's not probably going to end up shooting down an enemy plane. That's fine. What you are looking to do in this situation is you're looking to rattle the aircraft crew, so that it throws off their aim a little, right? That's what you're looking and hoping to do. So there's the value of turning on your aircraft or anti-aircraft guns in this situation. Now the enemy Bogue makes a critical error here, right? The player could have continued forward and at least bought himself or herself a little more time to survive, right? By going forward, using the island there as cover, but instead decides to turn in. I don't know if this was just, a suicide run or what, but Thotgor takes full advantage of the situation, launches off some torpedoes. We can see the first spread coming in, and they all look good. So 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Bogue is gone, and victory is ours. Fantastic. So we can take a look at the overall results here. A lot of credits earned here. The detonation, first blood, 2 devastating strikes, a bunch of experience as well. So excellent job, Thotgor. And again, send in your replays as well if you have any. Love taking a look at them, and we'll do what we can to get them up on the channel here. Now, while we're taking a look at the last few screens here of the game, we're going to end off the video in different fashion. I don't know. I was playing a bit of War Thunder yesterday. My ships was still being all jiggity janked. I tried the fix that was posted in the comments. Thank you very much. I'm starting to think actually that it's my internet, so I'm gonna have to look into that, which is what I didn't want to have to do, obviously. But anyway, played a bit of War Thunder, so we're gonna end off the video here with a bit of a derp moment that I had. I didn't have very good battles. We're playing realistic battles. I was in the ME410. It was the variant that has the big long cannon on it. I just wanted to blow some planes out of the sky. But anyway, do hope you guys enjoy, and don't forget to hit subscribe.
Derp. Derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derp. derp derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derp